With the return of solo leveling a couple of weeks ago, the hype is as real as it's ever been. It's only been a few chapters into the second season and we already have a lot of stuff going on. Hunter 𝐒𝐻𝐸 has fallen head over heels for our boy, and 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 has also started his very own guild where he himself is the guild master. In the end, it wasn't named the guild solo play after all. His sister suggested a different name herself, and just like that, 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's guild name is now the 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐸𝐭 Guild. I'm not sure if he's going to let Hunter 𝐒𝐻𝐸 join though, we'll just have to wait and see about that one. Anyway, this video is about the latest chapter of solo leveling. If this does well, I'll start releasing solo leveling chapter reviews every single week. So don't forget to press that like button and share your views about this chapter in the comments section down below. With that said, shall we begin? Now, before we analyse chapter 118, let's recap what happened in the previous chapter. In chapter 117, some huge-ass looking ogres broke into a high school, or to be more precise, an actual gate appeared right inside the building of a high school. Now, these ogres come out of that gate and start mass murdering students left and right. Now, this kind of thing is an even worse case than some extreme school shooting, so obviously all the students had the living daylight scared right out of them. Now, while all of this is happening in the school, 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 is preparing for a raid with the Knights Guild, and the members of the Knights Guild are just as excited as babies to have the great hunter 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 hunt with them. Not that I could relate to that. Anyway, back to the school shooting, or should I say raid. One of the girls manages to sneak into a washroom, and she gives the Hunter Association a call and explains the situation. But before they could finish the conversation, the ogres get to the girl. Now, this situation is only getting worse and worse, and then we see two familiar faces. It's 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's younger sister and her friend, who's an E rank hunter. It was right around when the ogres got to these two that the chapter ended, and then after a good long 7 days, the next chapter finally got released. Now, whether you've read this chapter or not, let's talk about it. Just kidding. If you haven't read this chapter, go read it. It's only going to take a minute. Make that 2 if you're a slow reader. So chapter 118 begins. We're back to the scene where 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's sister and her friend are in plain sight of those huge disgusting ogres. I know. If they dare lay a finger on our boy's sister, they'll never live to tell the story about it. There could even be a fate for them worse than death. Alright, so now that the despair is right in front of them, her friend, who's only E rank, knows that she must do something, even though her whole body's trembling. But the sister keeps her from actually taking a step. On the other hand, the ogres realise that the magical energy they'd sensed wasn't coming from the human. There was an even greater magic energy source, and that source was right behind 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's sister. Exactly. Those ogres had sensed the shadows 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 had dispatched into 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐴's shadow. And now that the jig is up, it's only right that the shadows come out and do something about the situation. And that's exactly why. Right when the ogre's about to end 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵, the shadow named Tank comes out and stops the ogre right there and then. And just to let you know, Tusk is the boss of that A rank dungeon where 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 went as the porter of Hunter's Guild Team B. And we all know how that ended now, don't we? Let's take a moment to appreciate 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's foresightedness that he'd prepared even for something like this. For now, both 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐴 and her friend are saved. Tusk just straight up punches the ogre right out of the ceiling into the sky. Not gonna lie, that almost gave me All Might vibes when I saw it. And Tusk wasn't the only shadow either. 2 of his henchmen were also there. So in total, it was 3 of 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's shadows versus the ogres. Meanwhile, 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐴 was wondering if her brother was even there. On 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's side, the team was inside the dungeon and were already panicking at the mere sight of an ogre. However, this time the ogre had 2 heads, so it makes sense that they showed some concern. The next few panels are some pretty epic scenes of the team members taking care of this giant 2-headed ogre. Now, up until then, 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 just didn't show up in this chapter, but after defeating this 2-headed ogre or whatever, the guildmaster tells him that this is bad. They shouldn't have seen this ogre right after entering the gate. He asks 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵 if he knows what twin-headed ogres are known as, which obviously he knew, but we didn't, so he tells him the word, which is gravekeepers. So, what's the actual meaning behind all of this then? The guildmaster explains that if a 2-headed ogre is the boss, then there's no problem, but if it's right there in their face the moment they enter the gate, then it's an indication that the dungeon will consist of the undead, which is literally 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐵's domain. I mean, he's the Shadow Monarch, the one who rules over the undead, so what's there to be afraid of? The only ones who should be afraid are the undead, and that's exactly why all of the undead start flinching, because it didn't take them long to realise that the Shadow Monarch himself is standing right there before them. Sung Jin-woo got a little disappointed as he had high expectations for this place. At this point, Sung Jin-woo hadn't even realized that his shadow soldiers were engaged in a battle trying to protect his sister. But it seems that one of them got wrecked because that made Sung Jin-woo realize there's something going on around his sister. Now, between the dungeon boss and his sister, it's pretty obvious what takes priority. So he told the guildmaster that he needs to leave because something urgent's just come up. That came out of nowhere for the guildmaster, so he told him that it would be very dangerous for them to continue without him. So of course, it's not okay for him to just say that he's leaving and then just go and leave. All those other A-ranked hunters might not survive because of that. So in order to ensure their safety, he tells them that he'll call someone that they can trust just as much as they could trust him, and he'll take care of things for them. So he summons one of his shadow soldiers, but the mere sight of this soldier makes all of the A-rank hunters wonder between the enemy and their new ally, who looks more frightening. That's right, the one that Sung Jin-woo summons is the Ant King from the Jeju Island raid, the same one that literally destroyed Japan's strongest hunter 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐨𝐿. Man, I still feel bad for that hunter. Even after all that scheming, all it took was one ant to rip that hunter's head off. So after summoning Beirut, Sung Jin-woo tells him to protect the humans. And as for the non-humans, he tells him to do as he pleases. That takes care of that. Alright then, in that very instant, Sung Jin-woo dashes full throttle towards the entrance, and since he's the Shadow Monarch himself, no one gets in his way. They just stand there after opening a pathway for Sung Jin-woo to go where he's going as fast as he possibly can. They even end up bowing to him. After realizing what was going on and how he himself must be a higher class necromancer than who was controlling the undead, because that's the only thing that explains the strange behavior of these undead, Sung Jin-woo summons his flying dragon 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐿. He jumps over it and flies right outside the gate into the sky. Meanwhile, all of the spectators see him taking off the moment he exits the gate and then flying above all of them. Some of them must have been surprised, while some of them must have gotten some anxiety after seeing a dragon flying over their head. Also, I'm only calling 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐿 a dragon because that's what everybody else seems to call him. Just for reference, he actually used to be the pet of that demon king who was on the 100th floor. Anyway, back to Sung Jin-woo. Now that he's outside the gate, he tells 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐿 to take him to his sister, full speed. And just like that, Sung Jin-woo's seconds away from saving his sister, but just then, the chapter ends. Is it me, or are these chapters starting to get shorter and shorter every week? You wait an entire week, and then in just about 2 minutes, you finish the chapter. Well, I guess it's the theory of relativity, isn't it? Time flies by faster when you're having fun. As for what happens in the next chapter, I've only got one thing to say. Please be wary of light novel readers. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to press that like button and share your thoughts on this chapter in the comments below. If you're new to this channel, you should consider turning that red subscribe button grey. I post both new and old anime reviews regularly. If you like anime raps, then I have another channel especially for them. It's called Sensei Beats, and you should check it out. The link will be in the description box below. Plus, if you're interested in joining an otaku community, then you could consider joining my Discord server. The link for that's also in the description box below. Well then, see you guys on my next video, and until then, stay safe and watch anime.